I know, we are hitting a controversial topic right now. Hollywood has had its fair share of controversies throughout its long history, with the most recent being the hideous acts of Harvey Weinstein. But another more recent one in the past few years has been the incredible oversight from Hollywood that has created the norm that is whitewashing throughout the movies industry. From Scarlett Johansson's portrayal of the Japanese Major from Ghost in the Shell, and Christian Bale playing Moses in Ridley Scott's Exodus, Gods and Kings, and these have been within the last 7 years. There have been many more examples where Hollywood has created a normality that the lead for a majority of movies must be played by white actors. But Barry Jenkins' 2016 phenomenon Moonlight breaks that cycle of whitewashing in Hollywood. And he does it in a way that can pave the future for more ethnic actors, directors and writers to be in the front line of Hollywood movies. However, before we get into Moonlight, let's first discuss the history of Hollywood's whitewashing problem. Hollywood's whitewashing epidemic is as old as the film industry, with such films as Charlie Chan Carries On, which was released in 1931, had actor Warner Olin play a Chinese detective. The act of casting white actors to play non-white characters has been a plague on the film industry, as you can tell, for many years. And it is a problem that even seeps into movies about real people. The film World Trade Center, which was released in 2006, had actor William Mapplethorpe play Marine Sergeant Jason Thomas, who is black in real life. Hollywood often looks for excuses when it comes to casting white actors for non-white acting roles, and the most used excuse is money. That having a non-white actor be the lead does not get people in the cinema. Ridley Scott once said in an interview about casting Christian Bale to play Moses instead of someone more aligned with Moses' background in Exodus, Gods Amongst Men, that I can't mount a film of this budget where I have to rely on tax rebates in Spain and say that my lead actor is Mohammed so-and-so from such and such. Scott says, I'm just not going to get it financed, so the question doesn't even come up. But looking at history, having a white actor doesn't guarantee a hit, with films such as Ghost in the Shell, The Last Airbender and Prince of Persia all financial flops. So where does the buck end? Should the actors be criticised for taking roles such as Justin Chadwin playing Son Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution? Or is it the directors who agree to work with these actors? Or the producers who make notes about these decisions? Or studios who are financing these movies? It is hard to point a finger and blame someone, because the issue is a systemic one that has never been challenged to its fullest extent, because even in 2020 there is still whitewashing in movies, with Artemis Fowl having Lara McDonald play an elf that was described in the book as having pointed ears and dark nut brown skin. So how do you solve this issue in Hollywood? Because when I do see a movie that is primarily a black cast or Asian cast, they are movies about the history and culture, movies that focus on the characters being a minority. And this is a problem with Hollywood, because it creates a culture within the film industry that non-white actors can only lead a movie when the film is about their race. Look back at the Oscars and you will see that a majority of nominees and winners for actors and film is about slavery or a moment in American history. And I'll be fair when I do say that this is the Oscars anyway. But you hardly ever see a film that isn't about the hardship of being black in America or the mistakes America has made to their ethnic citizens. It is like Hollywood has put minority filmmakers and actors in a pigeonhole that they can only be the lead or win Oscars about stories that revolve around the colour of someone's skin. For example, you had films such as BlacKkKlansman, Hidden Figures, Fences and Selma, all nominated for Best Picture and all about the hardship of being a minority in America. But then you have films such as Marriage Story, Inception, Lady Bird, La La Land and more that aren't about the character's skin colour. So why not have a non-white actor as one of the leads? But the cycle of Hollywood's whitewashing has to be broken within the film industry and by the filmmakers of today's generation. To break that cycle, today's filmmakers have to take a note from Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, the film that broke Hollywood's whitewashing cycle. Because whitewashing shouldn't be attributed to just white actors playing non-white characters. It should be attributed to ethnic actors not being given a chance to play any lead role, not just roles based around America's dark history. So, let's talk about Moonlight. Barry Jenkins' Moonlight is a wonderful movie about a young child called Chiron, and we follow Chiron through 3 stages of his life, from being a kid to a teen and then his adulthood. But the core story in Moonlight is about this young man's acceptance of who he is, and that is being gay. And this is how Moonlight solves Hollywood's whitewashing cycle, because Moonlight isn't about Chiron being a young black kid, it is just a story about how this young child deals with being gay. This movie didn't need the main lead to be black. Chiron could have been white, brown or Asian, and the story wouldn't have changed. Earlier I said whitewashing should be more about giving non-white actors a chance at being the lead in a role, and that is what has happened in Moonlight. The reason I know that Moonlight isn't revolved around Chiron being black is because the character played by Mashallah Ali states that fact. He says this:
"Let me tell you something, man. There are black people everywhere. Remember that, okay? No place you can go in the world ain't got no black people. We was the first on this planet."
That sentiment that there are black people everywhere is the movie telling us that we shouldn't focus on the colour of the skin of Chiron, but connect with the human, not the race. That is the power of Moonlight and what makes it a seminal film. And to step it up a notch, the lead character, who is black, is also gay, a demographic that feels even more marginalised in society. Not a lot of movies would have the balls to do that. Sure, they will make a movie revolving around someone's sexuality, but more than not, the lead would be white. But Barry Jenkins doesn't confide with that logic anymore that only white actors can sell a movie, and it seemed that Hollywood was agreeing with Moonlight winning the Best Picture at the 2017 Oscars. What is important to remember is that this isn't an attack on white actors or movies that have white leads, but it is a reminder that non-white actors can play leads that don't revolve around someone's skin. This video is about giving an equal opportunity to everyone to have a chance of being the lead. That directors or producers are not solely looking for white actors when the film is not about being black or Asian. That everyone has a chance. If that means a white actor was the best in the audition, fair enough, and they deserve the role. But there must be an opportunity there for black, brown, Asian actors to at least have a shot. And that's why Moonlight is important, because you can replace Chiron with a white actor, but the story wouldn't change. So what can be learnt from Moonlight? How do you even the playing field so non-white actors have a fair chance? Do you go right to the top of the film industry? No, you do the exact opposite. You go to the next generation of filmmakers and they have to make that difference, because the eyes of the top, all they see is that broken system works. And for them, if it isn't broken, why change? So it shoulders on the responsibility of the next filmmakers to make conscious decisions to include non-white actors to be their lead role. They have to build a foundation so that the next generation after can see that it is normal having a black lead in their movie. It is not a problem that will be solved overnight, because it is a problem that has been going on for nearly 100 years. And it might take another 20 to 50 years to normalise the idea of just having a non-white lead in roles, but it has to start somewhere. Young, innovative, exciting filmmakers must make that decision. And again, I want to preface that this isn't an attack on white actors. If any director thinks a white actor suits their role, then fine. But it is all about making a conscious effort to at least give everyone else an opportunity. And we are slowly seeing a change. We have the biggest director in Hollywood right now, Christopher Nolan, who, let's be honest, doesn't have the best track record with all his films following a white leading man, have John David Washington to be the star. And then you had Rian Johnson, who had Ana de Armas as his lead. So maybe times are slowly looking to progress. My conclusion is this: Moonlight isn't the first movie that has done this, and it certainly will not be the last. But the film is an important hallmark that having a lead that isn't white does not automatically mean the movie will financially flop. But whether Hollywood will listen and take that progressive stance forward is up in the air. So, it comes down to you, the future filmmakers out there. You have to be the ones to make those conscious decisions in order to give all actors, no matter race, religion, gender, or sexuality, an equal opportunity. That is how Moonlight breaks Hollywood's whitewashing cycle.